Nick Kunze from Sanlam Private Wealth joins me now to discuss today's movements further. Nick, as always, thank you for your time this afternoon. Let's start with those overall markets. A little bit of a flat start to the operating day, but gradually things started to improve on the local bourse. Talk us to some of the biggest contributors that ended the day in the green as it did.
Yeah, well, good evening. As you pointed out in your intro, hospitality shares really back in favour. Rumours of that lift from the UK red list by some time this week gave City Lodge a massive boost, up 49%. Sun Gaming, Sun Hotels, Sun International, all had a really, really nice day. And also add in the fact that oil price is now popping over $82 a barrel. Sasol enjoying that too, also up about 6%. So solid day and certainly bucking the international trend. We look quite red outside of our borders, and nice to see the JSE in the green today.
Right, and what about the rand? I mean, early last week we saw it really hitting some solid moves against the US dollar. It's now struggling. Is that a story just of a stronger dollar, or are there some other contributors here?
I think it's a bit of both. The dollar was a bit weaker at the end of last week, so that's coming back a little bit today. And there was a risk-off tone this morning coming in. You know, still got concerns with the Chinese property developer Evergrande. They suspended trading in Hong Kong this morning. China, of course, shut until Friday on a holiday. So that share price down was suspended before it was closed. And then on the back of that risk-off mood, emerging markets, rand's always been a proxy for risk, took a bit of a knock off the back of that. And there's also some comments I saw that later on this evening about Fitch, mentioning about South Africa's debt and the concerns around it. So just a little bit of a risk-off feel, and of course the first in the queue is the rand, which gets sold off the back of that.
Let's get on to some company news. Afrimat, the building materials and mining group, flagging an up to a 63% increase in headline earnings per share in its half-year profits. I mean, that's an indication of a nicer operating environment, for lack of a better word.
It is, and they pivoted a couple of years ago. Management made the wise decision to lean more towards the iron ore basket and their commodity basket they speak about. And of course, record prices for iron ore a couple of months ago. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to look as rosy the next quarter with iron ore price down over $100 to where it used to be. But nevertheless, nice set of results. Markets seem to like it. Earnings up considerably, and the stock price also up 5.5%. Something to do at the moment, although, as I said, a little bit of a caveat there. The next quarter might not be as rosy as this one was.
Right, let's move on to some global matters, as we did a little bit earlier, now focusing on inflation and the uncertainty around there. It looks like markets are unprepared for this inflation fallout that may happen. I was reading a report earlier on CNBC, and I mean, there is a lot of uneasiness around it.
Very much so. And I do think this is going to be the sort of subject that investors and traders and market watchers will be watching and setting the tone for the next 12 to 18 months. Inflation, which has been nowhere to be seen better part of a decade, all of a sudden looks like it's coming back. You know, we had the Fed's captain speaking this afternoon, talking about maybe it's not transitory, we won't see 2% again. Well, it's difficult to understand how they would see it being 2% with, oil up 60% this year, everything from coffee up 50%. I could name numerous amounts of commodity prices which are up significantly this year. And I think inflation is coming in. Next step, of course, is will the central banks curb inflation? Will they need to raise rates quicker than we anticipate? And as I said, that is going to be the one to watch in the next 12 to 18 months.
Nick, as always, many thanks for your insights there. That's Nick Kunze from Sanlam Private Wealth, wrapping up the markets day that was quite a positive start, largely due to that announcement that's come through from the UK in terms of South Africa being off the red list.